It's so wonderful to be here with you today and with my very special friends.
Yes. Hi, I'm Bob. Big B, little O, little B.
And
I'm Moonshot. Big M, Moonshot.
And I'm Miss Debbie. And with my friends Moonshot and Bob, we are going to read a story. We're going to read the story of The Sleeping Princess, written by Debbie Arsenault and illustrated by Hannah Birdwell. And it's a special kind of story, stories that get retold over and over and over again, called a fairy tale.
They're so cool, I love fairies.
Well, that's not because they're called fairy tales, not because of fairies, although a lot of them do have fairies, and so does this one. But they're called fairy tales because they are imaginary stories. They are stories that take place in fantasy, made-up worlds from our imagination.
I love those worlds, don't you, Moonshot?
Yeah. And in fairy tales, there's always something magical. Yeah. And in this story, The Sleeping Princess, there's a lot of magic. And there are so many different ways that we can act out stories and tell stories, right? We love to do that.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that we can do that is with our bodies. Have you ever been to the ballet?
Oh, Moonshot has?
Yeah?
Grandma takes me.
Well, guess what, friends?
What?
I have a very special surprise for us today.
What is it?
Our friends from Ballet Vero Beach,
Yep.
they're gonna join us to act out the story.
That's so cool. It's gonna be so fun.
And we're going to dance our way through the story. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the story of The Sleeping Princess. The Sleeping Princess, written by Debbie Arsenault and illustrated by Hannah Birdwell. In a faraway kingdom, it is the morning of Princess Aurora's marriage to Prince Desiree. Catalabute, the king's master of ceremonies, sits on the king's throne, holding a book and a quill.
I know the perfect gift for my dear princess and her wonderful prince.
He declares.
I will write the story of what led to this happy day for them to treasure forever.
Catalabute flashes back in time, his memories coming to life on the page. Catalabute remembers King Florestan holding the newborn Princess Aurora while the queen knits a blanket to keep her precious baby warm. The king and queen were overcome with joy at the birth of their beautiful baby girl. A gentle melody announced the arrival of the Lilac Fairy, one of Aurora's 2 fairy godparents. The Lilac Fairy congratulated the king and queen, and all seemed right with the world. Suddenly, intense, dark music filled the room. Catalabute quaked with fear as he realized that he had made a huge mistake. He forgot to invite Carabosse, Aurora's other fairy godparent. Anxious and afraid, all awaited Carabosse's arrival. Soon enough, Carabosse entered, furiously fussing and fuming with rage.
How dare you forget about me?
Cried out the fairy godparent. Carabosse was very upset at having been left off the guest list. The royal family sincerely apologized, but it was too late. Carabosse snatched one of the queen's knitting needles and waved it like a magic wand, cursing the newborn baby.
The child Aurora will grow and grow, and on her 20th birthday, she will prick her finger on that very needle and die,
Carabosse proclaimed. The entire royal court gasped in shock. Just then, the Lilac Fairy came forward and softened the curse. The kind fairy told them all,
The princess will grow and grow, and she will prick her finger, but the princess will not die. Instead, she will fall deeply asleep until she is awakened by her one true love.
Caraboss stormed away, frustrated and angry. The story now turns the page to Catalabute's memories of the day of Aurora's 20th birthday. Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, Aurora's maiden aunties, arrived for the party. Along with the king, queen, and Catalabute, they waited for the now grown-up princess. Aurora glided into the room and danced at her party. She had grown into a curious and confident young woman, unaware of the curse upon her. The aunties gave Aurora the gifts of abundance, steadiness, and passion. These were not presents in a box, but qualities that will make her a good ruler of the kingdom. As Aurora danced with joy, a mysterious old woman presented her with a beautiful bouquet of flowers. The princess had no idea that the old woman was really Caraboss in disguise. Aurora suddenly pricked herself on a knitting needle hidden inside the bouquet. Everyone gasped, "The curse!" The princess collapsed, falling into a deep sleep, and the party turned into chaos before the entire court soon joined her in slumber. As the memories of the 20th birthday party fade away, we again see Catalabute riding on the king's throne. He takes a pause, smiles knowingly, and continues writing as the story moves to a scene in the forest sometime later. Prince Desiree was alone, deep in the forest. He looked sad. Though he was heir to the throne of a wonderful kingdom and had all the wealth and power he could imagine, he longed for love. As the prince danced alone with his thoughts, the Lilac Fairy appeared. The Lilac Fairy guided him towards the sleeping Princess Aurora.
You seek true love, and I believe you will find it if you look and listen with an open heart,
said the kind fairy. Prince Desiree encountered the fairy Caraboss on the way to find Princess Aurora. His commitment to find true love helped him to defeat the fearsome fairy and brought him to Aurora's side. Desiree is about to wake the sleeping princess with true love's first kiss, when suddenly King Florestan and the queen interrupt Catalabute's writing. He is brought back to the day of the wedding. They tell him to get out of the throne room and get ready. As the festivities begin, Catalabute welcomes the aunties Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather to the royal court.
Let us celebrate the joyous couple,
he announces. Fairy tale friends from neighboring kingdoms arrive to celebrate the happy day. Puss in Boots and the White Cat dance a playful duet. The bluebirds float and flutter around the ballroom. The wolf chases Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red tries to escape. Aurora and Desiree dance for their guests to mark a bright future for the kingdom. The start of a glorious
happily ever after.
The end. That was so much fun, friends.
That was great.
You were a dancer, Moonshot.
Yes, I was.
And you were dancing, Bob.
Oh, I didn't say a word.
That's hard
one
for
word.
you.
I know.
That story took us to a whole nother magical world. Right?
It was so magical.
It was a different setting altogether. What was the setting of the story? Where did it take place?
It was in a royal kingdom.
That's right. It was in a royal kingdom. And we know that because there were kings and queens and princes and princesses. Right? And there was the good fairy godparent and the evil, angry fairy godparent.
Yes.
And those aunties who gave those gifts to the princess, right?
Yeah.
I love presents.
I know you do, Bob. But you know what? These weren't just like presents, like you would give a toy or a Xbox, right? No, these were gifts, like qualities or characteristics.
Like things you don't wrap in paper, really.
Like things you don't wrap in paper, right? So they gave her the qualities of abundance and passion.
Yeah.
What is a gift that you could give the world, Moonshot?
Well, I give Bob a gift of friendship, I
That's
guess.
perfect.
Yeah.
You are such a good friend.
Yeah.
And Bob, what's a gift that you give the world?
Maybe the gift of comedy.
Of comedy, of laughter, and jokes. Yes, right. And together we give the gift of storytelling, right? We can work together as friends and act out stories. There are so many different kinds of gifts. I can't wait to go visit our friends in the classroom again
Me too.
and
Oh, me
find out
too.
all about their gifts. Yeah. Well, we will see you in the audience when we get to go see a full performance of the ballet, The Sleeping Princess.
Tiffany!